Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi! Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. With us today is Dr. Peter Michalos, and his nickname, Live Long and Prosper. Well, Dr. Peter, how are we going to make it to 100 this year? This week, what is your advice?
Well, we're going to talk about a fascinating topic. It's really a double-edged sword, and that's microplastics and plastics. You know, plastics have been life-saving. They're in every single piece of medical equipment, IV tubing, medical instrumentation. But the problem is that, 100 years ago, microplastics and nanoplastics, which can actually cross the blood-brain barrier, were not part of the human condition. And now, in autopsies, they found microplastics in the blood, in the liver, in the lungs, in our brain, and that can cause inflammation in the brain because it's a foreign body. And they even found it in breast milk of women, so babies are even getting it from their mothers. And this chronic inflammation can damage very important structures in our bodies. Like each one of our cells has these little powerhouses that are like the little small nuclear reactors, and they're the mitochondria, and it seems to damage them because it basically plugs things up. And in heart attacks, they even looked at the plaques on autopsies on the blockages in heart attacks, and they found microplastics in the plaques as well. And they also think that this microplastics can contribute to stroke. And when we swallow microplastics from the various food sources I'll go into, it's also associated with inflammatory bowel disease, which is not a good thing. And it's even found to disrupt hormones and even cause low sperm counts in men. And there's recent upcoming literature that's been released about the cancer that in the colon, or lung, and the breast. And again, why these particular tissues? Because, of course, the bowel, when we eat, for example, seafood now, contains a lot of microplastics, especially the larger fish, which also have the heavy metals. And that's why we have to eat things like wild sardines, which are small fish. They don't have time to accumulate any mercury or microplastics. They even found it in sea salt and a lot of it in synthetic dust. And one thing that I was talking to Dr. Robert Ciccarelli across the Donkus the other day, and he was explaining to me and showing me the literature on how toothbrushes and the tooth bristles, every time we brush our teeth, we're releasing thousands of micro and nanoplastic into our mouth. And that's why that prompted me to switch to bamboo bristled brushes. And I told all my friends to do that as well, because you're not releasing the plastics. And also when you're in the dentist and you're using some of these plastic fillings, everyone thinks that they're better because they got rid of their silver fillings. But the plastic fillings, when you put them in, they have to be polished down, and you're sitting there with your mouth open and you're breathing. Every time they sand down those fillings or those plastics, it's also releasing plastics. And of course, people who have jobs where, like people who sand cars or car body shops, they're sanding fiberglass and microplastics all the time. And those environments, they have to really be careful and wear masks because those particles are getting in. And also car tires are a major source of microplastic because everybody says, oh, the rubber wore down on my tires. Guess where all that aerosolized
You breathe it in.
plastic went? On the highway, yes.
Now, let me ask you a silly question. If you're extra careful, does that stuff go away eventually or just stays in your body permanently?
Some of it stays in your body permanently. Some of the super small stuff might get past your kidney and you might pee it out. But they found in a lot of autopsies in older people up to a tablespoon of microplastics in the brain. So it stays in you. But whatever we can do from now on to be more aware, And even like plastic bottles, don't leave them in your car in the summer, because when the plastic heats up, that's when it releases microplastics into the bottled water. So you really don't want to keep it in like a hot place.
So all those bottles sitting on a truck, if you live in Tucson and you have a truckload of water and it's 120 degrees in the shade, that truckload, that plastic, is going to seep into the water.
Absolutely, and that's why I tell people, and what I do at home is we have a plastic, it is made out of plastic, but it's designed with carbon to filter out microplastics, and we just throw in the bottle of plastic water into the filter, and then the filter, after it comes through, it'll help to reduce the amount of plastic. So all these little...
But if you live in Long Island, the other problem you have in Long Island, I understand, is there's possible radiation in the water. You can't get radiation out.
Yeah, well, radiation, that's something that we deal with all the time. We're being solar flares. You get more radiation when you're in an airplane, especially when you fly in the poles and the higher areas when there's solar storms. You get a lot more radiation. But we just basically...
No, Peter, it comes from the groundwater because of some of the facilities that were in Long Island.
No, absolutely. You have it in the groundwater. I'm just saying there's different sources. When you're flying, when you're in the groundwater, when you get x-rays, dental x-rays. In the old days, they used to use, for acne, they used to use x-rays until they figured out it caused thyroid cancer. So there are side effects. But what we try to do is just to learn some of these risk factors, try to avoid them, and do the best we can to minimize the exposure. We're never going to get rid of all the exposure, but whatever we can do, use glass containers at home instead of plastic containers. Use glass bottles to store liquids at home. So little things like that. All these things add up to help us to live long and prosper. And, you can learn more about this stuff on our X at Death of Aging. And we did a whole chapter on microplastics in the book because it's such an important topic and we're learning so much more about it.
Dr. Peter Michalos, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for all your advice, and hopefully I'll meet you at the age of 100, and I'll give you your 100th birthday party. That means I must be at least 110 at that time.
Thank you, John, for always getting the truth out and keeping our audience healthy on the Cats Roundtable.